Good afternoon. This is Nereida Sirena with Celestial Soul Wellness, and today we're going to talk about October 18th lunar eclipse of 2013. Wonderful. Thank you again for watching, and I hope we can illuminate some information for you. This eclipse is happening around the 26 degrees Aries. Why is it so important all the time that I mention the degrees of the sign? It's because it's not going to affect necessarily everyone who's in Aries. What it means, it's going to affect everyone within 5 degrees of the 26. So we're going to go about 21 to 31 degrees, 30 degrees Aries. So that's why it's always important. For those of you who do not know your degree sign, which is quite all right, who goes around, right? Knowing their degree sign, they barely know their license plate number, their driver's license number. So what you do is, if you think back, if you were born within 5 days of the 18th, so we're going to go back to the 13th, or all the way back to the 23rd of any of the cardinal signs. So that's going to be Libra, Aries, and Cancer, okay, and Capricorn. Ooh, almost forgot. So, if which means, okay, I know what you're saying. So, what we're talking about is 18. No, what we're talking about is the 13th of April all the way to the 23rd of April. Same thing with July, 18th, 23rd. I mean, of course, it's going to give or take a day because some months have 31, some have 30, some have 28. Same thing with Libra. So it's going to be at the 13th to the 23rd of October. Same thing with Capricorn. We're going to do that for January. So if you are born within the 13th through the 23rd of January, April, July, and of course October, then it's going to affect you. Now, that's your sun sign. A lot of people do not know their time of birth sign. Remember, the time of birth changes every 2 hours. Well, it changes every minute, but the sign changes every 2 hours, okay? So you have to take that into consideration. So just because for me, example, my ascendant is Cancer, okay? So depending upon your sun sign, that's going to change things up a bit, all right? And then you need to consider your moon sign, all right? Remember, the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. And as it's moving, it's hitting all those different degrees, okay? So for some people, they have 3 different signs. That's why it's very important to read those 3 signs in a horoscope or to listen to them. It's not just your sun sign that's being affected, okay? So not everybody who's an Aries is going to have the same effect, because you could be an Aries with a Virgo rising and a Scorpio moon. And so you need to read all 3 of those. Always remember. So going back to the eclipse, all right, it is happening in 26 degrees Aries. So once again, we talked about, who it's affecting. Consider your ascendant, consider your moon sign also. And if you have any personal planets with those degrees, personal planets or luminaries are going to be your asteroids, your Venus, Mars, okay, and the outer planets, which is going to be your Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and I don't care what they say, I'm still going to consider Pluto, and of course, Uranus, okay? So, consider all of those. They will be, one way or another, they are affected. Now, also know that because it's affecting an Aries, Aries is a very warrior type, very active sign, okay? Aries represents the teenage alpha male, ready for a war. They don't even care for the cause, mercenaries. Yeah, let's go, get that aggression going. Their testosterone is moving. They just want to move, okay? Sometimes I get mothers who say, oh, my kid is going crazy. He's this and that. I'm like, no, he's a teenage boy. It's quite natural, especially starting already around 10 years old. Remember, these are your pages, your potential pages, who are going to assist the knights, all right? And then the knights are in their 20-year-olds. So They are going out there and they want to conquer. They're not sure what their purpose is, but they want to go and find out, challenge themselves. What can they do and what can't they do? So a lot of times why I bring this up is because we are going to be having that kind of mentality. We have to be careful because right now the sun is in Libra, and so Libra is all about cooperative, harmonious relationships, working in partnerships. Aries is about I am the independent. I'm the star quarterback, or I'm the ball hog, and I'm going to be the star scorer, in water polo, or individual sports. Maybe you are on a team, for example, like swimming, but you're not doing relays. You're doing the independent. Okay, it can affect the team, but at the same time, it's mostly upon the independent person, the individual. All right, the beat and everything that's going on. So there's going to be tension pulling because at any time we have a full moon. Now remember, eclipses are 10 times a full moon. All right, very important. So we feel that power. All right, and a lot of people might get emotional. Remember, it is the moon. The moon is very emotional. Okay, and depending upon your sign, how you take out those emotions. Some people might be very argumentative. Others people might be, very sad and take it into themselves. All right. Other people might, just want to be isolated and need some time alone because they don't want to show any of their emotion, which is quite all right. All these are fine as long as we realize that the way we deal with our emotions, as long as we are not giving out negative energy to others, it is fine. Okay, just be careful that the way you're dealing with emotions is not promoting negative energy and imposing it upon others because that's not fair either, especially, if they didn't anticipate it and they're not in the mood for it. Sometimes during this time, especially with the eclipse in Aries, some people will purposely start arguments because they just got all this testosterone moving and they just need to get it out and they're just looking for a fight. So during this time, please, please be careful, especially if you're drinking, because alcohol sometimes blurs our senses and we don't realize we have this frustration and aggression going on, okay, and this passion, this need to just, I don't know, just challenge something. And people who drink sometimes, they don't realize that, and then all of a sudden they're making a big deal, but hey, you spilled my cup, what do you think, you're being disrespectful, that's not right, show me some respect or have some consideration and manners, and next thing you know, there's gunshots flying. We don't need that, okay? So one of the best things to do is always stay grounded, centered. Realize this. Also know during this time, while you're driving, you're going to have a lot of accidents because people are making quick decisions. They're being very offensive drivers. They're not considering other people, and they want to get places quickly. Okay? They want to just get there. They don't care. This is a very sign that is all about me, and it's a fire sign. So it's like, let's go. I'm on it. Everybody out of my way. If you're in the middle, of my path, you are going to get run over. So we need to really, really ground ourselves, take a deep breath, bring ourselves down to our heart chakra in there and really, really be thinking with our hearts. There's no need to react. We need to take the time when we see something or we hear something that's not appeasing to us or it's not with our common good. We need to just take a step back and go, okay, this shall pass also. Unless it's life or death, there's no need to react. Don't take it personal. I always say that. Do not take things personally because we have no idea what's going on with them. Okay? Though we're like a lot of people want to say, but hey, it is personal because it's happening to me. But it's not all about you, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? It's actually about the whole universe of what's going on. We are just little, chess pieces. So the more grounded we are staying, the more good for humanity tranquility. We are allowing, and then also to the more grounded and peaceful and harmonious during this time, we are giving, all right, that unconditional peace, that unconditional harmony and love. I'm not saying to be a welcome rug that people can walk all over. There's a difference about being grounded, being a loving dominant in your situation, okay, as opposed to being a martyr and a victim. All right. Still be observant. If you see things are out of hand, if you're at a store and there's a major sale going on, you see people going crazy. If you really don't need those items, maybe you should leave the store or go to a different section of the store. Okay. There's no reason to be in the midst of such anger and such negative passion. Now, on the contrary, Aries is also known to have so much passion that Mars is the planet that rules our sex drive, okay, and how we deal with it. So remember, Aries is ruled by Mars, okay, and so we're going to be very detailed in this aspect because right now Mars is in Virgo. It wants clear-cut things, which is good, okay? It wants sanitary, very detailed. We need order, we need organization, feng shui, all that, and there will be a rise of passion going on, especially if you are, a fire sign or cardinal sign. The fire signs, just in case you don't know, are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Okay, and they are also being affected. And we already mentioned the cardinal signs. And if you're a Scorpio, because Scorpio is also ruled by Mars. So any of those, you're going to have this wanting to just, either be ravished, oh, take me, please, please, or you're going to want to throw someone down and take them like the beast that you are, okay? As long as it's consensual, and sane and safe, it's all good, all right, in that department. If it's not, you know, this is a very, very nucleus time, so especially with alcohol and drugs, or even, legal or illegal, having someone under the influence and thinking, oh, well, they knew they were here, it's best not to get involved, okay? Um, People have different reactions. Besides, you want to have someone who's coherent with you, okay? Not just lying there, hey, So, anyway, so going back to the astrology, all right? So during this time, quick, like I mentioned before, accidents can happen because people are moving so quickly. Not just while driving, though. Check this out. It can happen just, let's say you're cooking and you're cutting up those vegetables and you're not paying attention. Someone starts talking to you and you look away, and next thing you know, there goes not just that nail, but a little piece of the finger. Okay, so be very quickly. Remember, Aries is ruled by metal. Okay, so anything with metal, those of you who, are barbers or beauticians or hairdressers, okay, if you work with machinery, be very careful also during this time. Because it's a full moon, when we get hurt, know that the blood is being pulled up towards the heavens, just like high tide. Remember, the moon affects the tides, high tide, low tide, every 2 hours. So the same thing, because of this time, we might bleed more. So if you're considering having surgery within 10 days, okay, of this full moon, you might want to consider, rescheduling, or drink a lot of water. A lot of water, please. A lot of water, because water helps. So that way it's not the blood being searched for, but, it's the water. Okay. And that really helps you heal faster, too. All right. Another thing going on, we need to know that with this full moon, all right, we have a lot of things going, and that this is also known as the Sabian, all right, series, and so which is a man possessed of more gifts than he can hold. So a lot of times, we have those alpha males and females. They are just so wondrous. I mean, goodness, it's perfection. They can cook well. they're handsome looking, they are intelligent, they learn things quickly. And then we wonder what's going on. Okay, why is it they seem not so happy? We might consider that perfection, when really perfection, once again, remember, is a perspective and in the eye of the beholder. Okay, so if you have too many gifts, sometimes we're scattered. If we have too many gifts, we're not as compassionate to understand those who are not encouraged to develop their gifts. Now, I say encouraged because we are all capable of being Olympian runners. We are all capable of being astronauts. It's just we have chosen not to. We have chosen to develop other talents and other gifts, okay? We have our light workers who can heal. They know how to manipulate and use energy for the common good of the people. And then you hear other people go, how can you do that? I don't know. I would never be able to do that. Wow, it's a miracle. Miracles really are gifts that have been really developed by that individual, okay, and shared. Because usually with that individual, it's what they were, they've been doing for the longest time, all right? So we need to consider that and remember that and be positive. We got our NFL players. Oh my God, look at what they can do, this and that. So once again, we need to be compassionate and understanding. When we have too many gifts going on, also, aside from being scattered, aside from not being as compassionate, all right, we waste them. I know people who had wonderful grades in school, skipped years, or had AP classes and ended up not going to college. Is that something negative? No, that was their choice. But another parent might say, that was a waste of time, that was a waste of energy. Whereas for them, it was like, okay, that was good. I want to develop something else. Depending upon their astrology chart, what their purpose is going to be different than ours. And we need to remember that and respect that completely and understand that. So, okay, so remember, this is the Superman degrees. So you have a lot of people might be out there going, oh, it's all about me, I'm going to move ahead, and forgetting that we are all here to learn to cooperate with others. We are not here to just roughshod everybody else and only consider ourselves, because remember, we need to learn to harmonize our situations on a daily basis at the same time. Very important. Still being true to our true authentic self. Now, harmonizing, compromising does not mean giving up who you are for the sake of someone else. If someone doesn't appreciate who you are, okay, and you have been polite with wonderful manners, then we just need to say, hey, it's not for me. Not everything is going to go together, okay? I mean, we got chocolate milk. Chocolate goes well with milk. Wonderful, okay? But not everything's going to taste good with chocolate, all right? I mean, I'm not in the mood for steak with chocolate syrup on it. I don't think I'd ever be in the mood. Maybe some people are, but some combinations just don't go, okay? And we need to understand that and not take it personal. Maybe you're the chocolate, maybe you're the milk, maybe you're the steak, and you just go, oh, okay. Not everybody has to love us, all right? It's not our place here to be loved by the whole world. Okay. That's very important to understand and to accept. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as we still treat people with respect and manners and kindness and compassion, it's all good. Very important during this eclipse. Very much important, okay? Also, too, with this eclipse is we are being pushed and driven towards our soul purpose. Remember, eclipses are good. They bring major changes. But it's good because these are changes that we already had seen clues, and we saw that it needed to have been changed, and we were either too stubborn, too lazy, too doubtful of our abilities, and the eclipse is going to push us, okay, in a certain direction that we need to go and it's towards our soul purpose, really. Sorry for that long pause. Okay. So we need to go towards that soul purpose. Remember, our soul purpose is constantly evolving. All right? It's constantly evolving and growing, and we have never just get to a point to say, I'm there, I'm done. That's when we die. That's when our soul has said, that's good, okay? And if we haven't got there, we still need to grow. We still need to maneuver ourselves and understand and appreciate those things. So if there's something that you might consider a threat that's coming into your life, a challenge or an obstacle, really take a step back, breathe deeply, wait, do not make a decision, especially while the moon is in Aries, because one wants to react as opposed to act in a smooth, calmly manner, all right? And just, research, evaluate everything that's going on. Once again, unless it's life or death, there's no reason to make an automatic decision, okay? Especially, if it involves other people. So we need to really consider that. Once again, eclipses are good. Yay! All right? We need to really look at it that time, in that way. Um, Eclipses always happen in pairs. So know that in a couple of weeks we're having another eclipse, and that's going to be the new moon. Full moon eclipses are wonderful because they close the doors, they close the window, and they close the chapter of a part in our life that is no longer needed. It was needed at the time to get us through, to make us grow, to understand and be, unconditionally loving people. But it served its purpose. We are thankful, give gratitude, and we're now moving along because in 2 weeks we're going to have opportunities. Now understand, eclipses don't happen, the opportunities don't close or open exactly on that day. We can already feel the eclipse sometimes already 3 months ahead of time. Depending on your chart, have a qualified astrologer read your chart. By the way, I do that. Okay, you can always check it out at www.celestialsoulwellness.com and see how those eclipses will affect the individual person. All right. Also know that the eclipses go through sorrow series. So if one can think about what happened 18, 20 years ago, in this case, we're looking back at 1995, 1977, 1959 for those of you who you wonderful experienced people. Think about what happened those years, and you're going to get a slight idea of what is the theme of what this eclipse is going to bring to you, okay? And that way you can have a better idea. Some people say, well, I need to be prepared. Why? If you're always grounded, no matter what happens and comes our way, it's all good. You don't need to okay, get dressed. It's not a party that you're getting dressed to, okay, unless you're doing a great eclipse celebration, and those are always fun, all right, especially since this one is on a Friday, okay, so those of you, praise to, the Mother Moon and the wonders of her powers and energy that she bestows and gives us, and we get to enjoy that privilege. But now, that was a nice side note. Going back. Okay, so 1995, 1977, and 1959. I'm not sure if we have anybody, well, probably even earlier than that, those of you going into the 30s there, you might recall certain things. So, know that. I would like to read a wonderful, wonderful quote from a famous living astrologer. Her name is Bernadette Brady. And she says about eclipses, a gentle family of eclipses which brings a sense of ideas, a sudden release of material from the unconscious, which brings a great deal of insight. These ideas are good, and the individual would be wise to act upon them. So once again, when you have these eclipses, they bring insight, they bring opportunities, and we consider them, and they're always good for us. So once again, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment Please like and share with others, and contact with me at www.celestialsoulwellness.com. Once again, this is Nereida Sirena, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.